Hi, I'm Kim Kosak, and we're Corazon Holistic Health. And today we have Juliet here with us with Centered Soul. And Juliet is our resident yogi, and she does lots of great things. And Melanie Peoples here with us, one of the other clinicians. So today we're going to talk about yoga. We're going to talk about sound baths and all the things that you're doing. So
Right.
take it away.
Yay.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? So I have a space here with Corazon, which is wonderful. It's been such a delight to be here. I teach yoga classes online. I teach yoga classes in person here. And I also do sound baths. I do 2 a month. I have a class on Wednesday night that's been real popular now called Stretch and Sound. So it's a great way for people that are a little nervous about coming to a yoga class. They might not have moved a lot lately. So they come and they get a good stretch for 30 minutes. Then they lay down and I prop them up with all the pillows and they get really comfortable. And then I play the sound bowls and sometimes some other instruments along with it.
You have me at laying down.
Yeah, you can lay down for 30 minutes.
You have me at yoga now.
So it's the perfect reset for your Wednesday. Every Wednesday from 6 to 7. So, and all my classes here are $15 to drop in or $50 for 4 classes. And you can use them for 2 months. So that is, you have a long time to use your classes.
Yeah.
You just have to come. I have a website, which is acenteredsoul.com. And it's on the Corazon. So you can always find me on their website too.
Right.
To sign up for classes or to reach out and talk to me about privates or sound bath privates. I've done a lot of small groups. I've had USC, the Wellness Society from USC come here and do a class. I've done birthday parties. I've done all kinds of stuff, book clubs. I've done all kinds of groups. So I'm happy to talk about that too. People coming in and doing some yoga or sound bath.
You're telling me that you're very accessible because I hear online, I
right.
hear lots of different types. I hear all age levels, all fitness levels. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I have to admit, I'm 63. I just turned 63. So I would say the majority of my students
all look so good at 63.
Thank you. Are the 50 and up. People love me. But I also have a lot of 20-year-olds too and 30-year-olds that come to some of the more the Tuesday night, Thursday night classes are a little bit more physical than some of the other classes. So those are for people that really want to flow hard or get a little sweat. But all my classes start with a theme, which I think makes me really a valuable part of this group because I really believe that yoga is you use the mind to get, or use the body to get deeper into the mind. And so if you don't have, they work so well together, right? So, we know that you have to move to get through trauma. That's right. And so, you can't just talk it away. So sometimes having some movement practices, whether physical, if that's more your style, or something that's slower with a sound bath, we got you covered here.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about the nervous system, right?
Yeah.
I want to go back to touch on something you said, so for people who are a little nervous. So what is some of the biggest hesitations you hear people saying about, I'm scared to come to a yoga class?
Yeah. Mostly they feel like they might be embarrassed.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're getting into. And they're a little concerned. So that that class, and also my online classes are really for those people too.
Yeah.
Because you can do it in the comfort of your own home. You can turn the camera off if you want so nobody can see you.
Yeah.
Or you can participate as much as you want. Yeah. So, you don't have to be nervous. And really, this is why I've made that gentle class on Wednesday. Yeah. And I have some people that I pull out chairs for. They can't get up and down off the floor very easy.
Yeah.
So everybody in that class has an opportunity to just stretch and breathe a little bit and relax.
Yeah. I love that. And I think that it is one of those things where I don't want to be seen, right? Because I don't feel confident in this. And it makes me a little uncomfortable. But I find the energy in there, and everyone's so focused on their own thing that no one's even paying attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I am worried about my own down dog.
Right. People worry about how they might appear.
Yeah. Right. And I think that is a beautiful thing about being in a class. But I also understand sometimes maybe starting with a private to where you feel like you at least understand the basics or you know what that's going to look like might be a good way to go too.
Yeah. And I have some clients that are private that I do, because I do have an office here that I do privates. I've got 4 people that I work with. Some come every week, some come every couple of weeks. Some of them want to come to yoga class, but they need a little more confidence, or they have some limitations. And then some of them really are strong and they just want to work on some alignment or something they have a question about with some one-on-one time. So I have both. Some of my clients will come every week forever, and sometimes people will come a little while and then decide they got what they needed. But most of them come to class. People do privates and then they will come to class once they're comfortable.
Try that part out first.
Right? Yeah. Well, I am a big believer.
Yay, because
I'm a big believer.
Yoga teacher too.
Hence why we have it. And for me, and I say this and I don't say it lightly, I believe that yoga saved my life, right? Because I have a history of trauma, like the majority of the people that we work with here, and so for me, I really understand that nervous system piece, right? Feeling that anxiety that I didn't even know that I had. I didn't even understand that's what was happening. Things that were going on, that I was avoiding because it got that feeling in my stomach, or isolating from things that I wanted to do because I would go and then I would second guess myself from the anxiety, from the social anxiety. Like there was all these things. And my friend Christina had gotten me a flip book. It was like a little triangle flip book for Christmas, right, of yoga. So here's me trying to do a down dog as I'm flipping the book. I'm like, what's happening, right? So I'm over here doing this, trying to flip this, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And there's no instruction to it. So I probably did that for about 5 or 6 years before I ever went to a yoga class. And then I was like, I've been missing out, right? Because the flow and the energy and having someone walk you through that and being able to let go and just really let yourself be, right? And letting your nervous system calm down. And I was like, oh.
Well, and we know why that is, because everybody else's nervous system is also co-regulating in there.
That's right.
That's why that class is so important. And Juliet's always going to walk in there with this beautiful nervous system that's like, be here. I love that you're here.
That's right.
It's all welcoming and wonderful.
I love that you're, and I say that, thank you for being here to my students every time. I'm really am, and I mean it. I appreciate them coming and being here because, their presence contributes to everybody else's presence. They're co-regulating each other.
That energy exchange is so important.
It really is.
You said something really important that I wanted to touch on too, which is that idea of trauma, like in the body. Yeah. Trauma always starts in the body. Every single bit of experience starts in the body because all of our 5 senses, well, outside of the olfactory system, has to go through your brainstem, which means everything that is happening in your body is happening from the neck down first.
Wow.
So you're doing literally 90% of our work. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate that. Makes my job a lot easier.
If we just get them to class, we got to keep getting them to class, guys. Right. When you watch this, you got to come to class.
That's right.
So we want to see your faces here in my class.
Yeah.
Or in a private or a sound bath. You got some options, or you can sign up for online.
We've made it so available, right? I mean, we've talked about this because we're trying so hard to meet people where they're at, right? And we want you to do that. And, I don't know anybody that's ever come and said, yeah, that wasn't useful to me. Right. I mean, they may say
that's never been said.
That's never been said. They'll say, oh, it's just hard to fit my schedule or it's whatever. And I get that. But I would also say that when you come and you regulate, you create capacity for those other things in your life.
You do.
Right?
I believe that too.
So you have more regulatory space. So at the end of the day, you're not as exhausted, and I know that Melanie does too. We really promote even a home practice. If you need to regulate, I'm like, okay, let's do 3 sun salutations, right? Let's talk about what that is. And there's a reason for that, right? It's the inversion. It has to do with orientation. All of it has to do with our nervous system. Right. And how do we re-regulate and rewrite that? And yoga is exactly why my nervous system got rewritten. Right. Yes. Not everybody has to become an instructor.
Right.
But I also didn't.
They can just practice you.
Yes. But I like those people too.
Yeah. But, for me, I couldn't find a therapist. No one was. I'm older, so I'm going to be 60 this year. And
all right,
we didn't have, you are, but I'm close. I'm a runner up here, Chica. So
therapy wasn't cool until very recently.
It wasn't, and nobody was talking about trauma. I went to see
that
this
was
guy.
Really not cool.
No. And I went to see this guy and he's like, I'm telling him what I need and what's going on. And he goes, I have some people who work in the sex workers field. Could you come back and talk to them? I'm like, I'm here to talk to you. I'm trying to get my own regulation going. No, dude, I'm not ready for that. Now I will. Now I can do it all day. But I really had to go down this journey by myself. And so when I had the concept of Corazon, it was to create a space where people didn't have to go in that journey alone, right?
Yeah.
So not only are they coming to class, but they're finding community.
Yes.
Right? You're finding like-minded people. You're finding a safe place to be able to feel all of that. That's something we've all worked very hard to create is this safe place to come and build community.
Yeah. Right? I mean, it was my birthday recently, and one of my students brought me cookies. We went out. I mean, it is such a community in the class, and people, if you're new, everyone will come and talk to you and ask you. Maybe if you don't even want them to, they'll come and question you. I had a new student today, and they're like, "Well, what do you do, and where do you live? And, and
how did you find us?
We're so happy you're here." And then when she left, she said, "I just thought this place was so welcoming." And I said, "That's exactly what I want to hear."
That's exactly right.
That's what we want to hear for new students that come in. So we welcome everybody. And I work really hard to make you feel comfortable and to adapt to where you are. Mm-hmm. So I don't come in with an expectation that everybody's going to be the same level. I have lots of levels of students, even in the more intermediate classes, and I give lots of options. Yeah. So you do not have to do the hard things every time.
No, you always give modifications, right? I mean,
and I think to your body.
Yes, and I think part of what you're learning, right, is when to push yourself, when to hold back, when to honor those boundaries, how to listen to your body appropriately. Because I would love to do. There's some twisty stuff that I would love to do that I don't know that's ever going to be accessible with my right shoulder. Yeah. Here we are, right? I mean, it may not be. Yes. And that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's not world ending. Everybody's like, I'm not a pretzel. I'm not flexible. I'm like, it's not about that.
Yeah, it's not about that.
It's just not about that. You don't have to be a pretzel. You don't have to be flexible.
Yeah.
My best friend, Janine, she's always like, I don't move like that. I can't touch my toes, And yet she, over time, has continued to practice and to do, because what she learned was it wasn't about the position. Right. It was about the process.
It's about the process.
Yeah.
It's about
how you feel in your body.
And how you feel in your body. And there's just nothing I've ever done that makes me feel more connected to my body. I mean, you can run, you can do any kind of physical weightlifting activity that you want, but yoga says, listen to your body. And you don't get that message enough, I think, in other things.
How often do you experience that in a class? Like when you're just watching and observing and you can see somebody being in the zone?
It's so great, especially in the sound bath. I just, I play it and I just look around and everybody's like, they're just levitating off the floor. And I always do at the end, I ask everyone when they sit up, because everyone's like so spaced out after the sound bath. And I said, well, let's just, if you will, share something with the group and say your name. And people will tell me the most amazing stories of like dreams they've had where they're in the forest and there's rocks and there's foxes. And I mean, somebody really tells this long story. And it's great. And I'm like, wow, that's what I want. I want you to be able to find a happy place to go roam around while you're listening to the sound bath and let go of those day-to-day stuff that you worry about for 30 minutes or an hour or whatever.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's what we do.
I mean, I think we're all worth that, right? I mean, that's the other thing is like people say, well, this is not an expensive thing, right? I mean, and
$15 is very affordable.
It's very affordable, and you're worth that.
Yeah.
It costs you more than that to go to the drive-thru at McDonald's. I mean, what are we talking about?
Right.
I know.
Girl, you're way worth more than that.
You're way worth more than that. For sure.
Down dog, not cheeseburgers.
Down dog, not cheeseburgers. Fast. I was trying to think of another good there.
And you do workshops and stuff too. So there's also other things that you can get involved in.
Right.
And you also are at other places sometimes, and you're around town.
I am
you're at
around
the art museum and different things. And so it is a great way to find a community of people and to be engaged as much as you want to be engaged. You don't have to, right? People say hi, you say hi, pleasantries, but you don't. But just being around people can be enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. It's hard. When I teach yoga, I almost need my little tinctures to get everybody to stop talking because everybody comes in. But if you go to if I go to a weight training class or a Pure Barre class or some other class, everyone's just sitting there looking at their watch or their phone, waiting for something to happen.
Right.
And in my classes, I feel like all of the classes I teach, because I also teach at a senior center and some other places there, everybody is, conversing with each other. It's a community.
Well, and I can attest to that because like the yoga studio is right above like my office. Yeah. So I sometimes when I have a newer client, they're like, what is going on? I was like, oh, it's just yoga. They're coming in and they're just chatting. Like they'll be moving around and doing their own thing in a hot second. And it's just very funny because they're like, oh, they're just up there chatting. Yeah, that's what they do there. They do move their body, but they also have a little fellowship before that happens.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And when somebody's gone for a while and they ask and they reach out, when they start exchanging phone numbers, I know that I'm doing a good job.
Yes.
Because they're making friends.
That's right.
They're making friends. And that's a really important part. Because I told them today, I said, I know you guys love me and you come for me, but you really come for each other too. That's a really big part of it.
That's right.
Right. You come just because you know somebody's going to be there. And if you're not there, they might give you a call.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they have your number or text you and say, hey, we missed you today. How you doing? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Will you tell us the story of like how you got into the sound bath like piece? Because I actually remember when you went to the first like training and you were like, I don't know.
That's right.
I totally remember that.
Because there's and if you're in the yoga world, there's woo woo there, right? There's some that's so woo woo. If you're in the sound healing sound bath thing, the woo woo goes up another 11 or more.
We try to balance our woo woo up in here.
She was really woo woo, and so when I read her description, it was like her. And to go back in time here, Kim had has a set of the sound bowls, this beautiful cabinet that's up here in the yoga room, and I didn't know what to do with them. And I thought, I want to learn to play them. This might be fun. This might be something I can just play with and have a good time. So I found this teacher. It's not easy to find a lot of people, and I wanted to go somewhere with a teacher. So she was in Charleston, and she's her business called Awaken Sponda, which that tells you a little bit there too. Awaken Sponda, and she's lovely. I really did like her a lot after I got there, but when I read her description, I was like, oh my gosh, this woman is. And I'm yoga. I'm woo woo to a degree.
We're all
here too.
There's a balance.
There's a balance. But once I went there, I was like, this is it. I'm just having the best time. I'm really vibing with these bowls. I really want them. And so then I bought my own set after that. And then I said, well, now I need some more training. So and I was like, I need a gong. So then I got a gong. And then I added to my collection of other things. So now I have quite a collection. Yeah, the rain drum. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
In fact, my class said today when they said, do you have the tinkle things? And I was like, the tinkle things? I have these little chimes that make very tinkly sounds called Koshi chimes. And they were disappointed I did not have them with me today to play. But sometimes I bring those and I walk around the room and I just play them around people. So when they're in Shavasana. It
sounds like fairies.
It does. It sounds like fairies.
That's magical.
And they love that. So I always bring a surprise sometimes to class. Depends on what I'm feeling. I might bring another instrument to play during Shavasana.
It's really opened you up musically.
It really has.
It really has.
And it's kind of funny, I was going to tell the story about how I got into yoga, which is always really interesting too. I worked at the Y. I taught body sculpting. Which is basically a pump class, weight training class, and I taught that for many, many years. And I was able to do that on my lunch hour from where I worked full time. And they tried to convince me. They came and said, we want you to try to teach yoga. We want a yoga claess at lunch. And I went, I'm not interested. And they said, well, we'll pay for your training. You have this weekend training.
I'm interested now.
I said, we'll pay for you to go and we'll pay for your training. It's going to be here at the Y. They're going to do this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you'll be certified to teach yoga. Okay. All right. I had never, ever been to a yoga class. My very first yoga class
that is so terrifying.
Was teacher training.
Oh my God.
My very first class was teacher training. It was like 1998, something like that.
And it was the 3-day.
And it was 3 day. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Here you go. Now you're done.
Okay,
and then they said,
no.
No.
500.
That was like, that was maybe 8 hours over the 2 days. Now you're certified. now they said, okay, now we paid for you, so you're going to start teaching this in like 2 weeks. And I was like, what?
Can I?
But am I?
And I was a corporate trainer for 32 years, and part of my job was going and figuring out stuff. Somebody would show me how to do a thing on the computer, and then I would write the training, and I would interview people and do all that stuff. So I said, I'm just going to do it just like I do everything else. So I went to every class in town that I could go to, and at that point it was just people that put it in the Natural Vibrations magazine and Whole Foods.
Oh my God, I totally had that magazine as a kid. That's how I learned yoga, by the way.
You just get that, and they'd list, Columbia, where do you go to yoga? So I went to every church basement, and so I could go learn from people to see if what I was going to do. And then of course I've done 2 or 3 now, 200. And I'm 500 certified now, and I've been teaching, well over 25 years. So I've got lots of experience. So don't worry, you're good now.
Moved on from that 3-day weekend class. Moved on from the weekend class.
We've gotten lots of training since then. But so I always feel like some things just kind of, to me, have just shown up at the right time. Like yoga just. Someone said that chooses you, and I felt like yoga kind of chose me and said, take the willing more than the able. Take the willing. Who wants to do it?
That's right.
And the sound path kind of fell into me like that too. Like I just started playing some bowls, and I went, I think I want to do something with this.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have never ever probably done that if you didn't have the bowls there.
You would not have. In the cabinet. We're not using them, but they're really pretty in the cabinet.
I sometimes use them. I sometimes pull mine area. I use those.
Well,
too,
sometimes we'll use them in session, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't learn all the magical things you do. So
and that's really self-regulating, because we know that when people listen to that, their breath rate, their heart rate slows down, and they're able to get into these deeper states, closer to the meditative states of either creativity of your alpha brain waves, or you're in your theta brain waves right before you fall asleep, and you're having dreams that are kind of lucid. You're in the forest, there's foxes around you.
I love it when that
happens. That lucid area.
Yeah. And so
magic.
People that tell me I can't meditate, I'm like, well, come to sound bath, because that's kind of what it is.
That's right. And meditation, I think people have this idea about meditation, right? And I remember when I first started with my flip book, and then I was going to meditate too, right? So I was like, okay, what's happening, right? And I'm like,
what am I thinking? I should stop thinking.
Stop thinking. Right? And I was like, well, I am never going to be good at this. So I remember that I read something where they said, if you can meditate for 1 minute when you start, like, you're winning. And I was like, oh, okay. So I've only got 1 minute that I got to get to. Okay, what are we doing, right? But I think that over time, as I've learned, like I hike. So when I'm hiking, I'm meditating, right? Yeah. Meditation can be during the sound bath. It can be when you're hiking. It doesn't have to be that you are in this floating yoga pose that, transcendental, and you're going out in space. Like,
sure, that's going to work in Tibet on a mountain.
I mean, yeah. And I'm like, am I supposed to be leaving my body? I want to be leaving my body. Right? No, you're grounded. That's not what's happening. Your brain should always have thoughts, just so we're clear.
If it doesn't have thoughts, you're dead.
Yeah, we have a different thing going on. But I think people don't really understand it, right? Yeah. So it's scary, because you're like, oh, I can't do that. My brain's racing all the time, right?
Yes. But if you add movement to that.
That's right. And so I have people come in a lot who will say, what if I start crying in there? Right? And I'm like, okay, well, they're like, I might just break down. Like, and I don't want to be embarrassed in front of everybody, right? Because they feel like they're barely holding it in. Yeah. So when we talk about letting it go, they're like, what if I have this really big emotional response?
And so what?
There you go.
I have Kleenexes, and I believe me,
I've had
boxes. 2 last week. Sophia, who's our office manager, I was like, I need to come sit and talk to you, because the past 2 people I've had have broken down into tears with me, and I'm just like, I'm processing it. Yeah. One of them is the anniversary of his partner's death, and so as I'm doing the yoga with him, he's crying because it's moving through him. It's moving through it.
But that's processing.
It is.
It's not being stuck in there. It's not being held in there. It's not being held in the body or up here in the big, beautiful brain. Yeah. Like this part.
And my other friend had lost her husband lost his job, and she was processing that. I said, come free, just come take my class, come see me. And, she was teary on the end too. So I'm like, okay, whew.
But that's okay, because when we keep it in, we get sick, right?
Yeah.
This is where you hear, and people, they don't make the connection. Like they'll say, what's the number one risk for a heart attack? People will say stress. I'm like, yeah. So what's the number one risk for autoimmune disease and all these other things? Is stress. So when we think about how we're managing stress, that is moving it through our body, not shoving it down to where it's sitting here.
Well, that's how you get an autoimmune disorder.
That's exactly right.
You swallowed it so long that it said, well, I don't have anywhere to go, so I'm just going to start attacking you.
That's exactly right. Right. And this is where stress is a real thing. And it is a viable thing that you feel in your body. Yeah. Right. That when you have that, that weird confrontation you're going to go have with your boss, or you feel that. So what do you need to do? You need to move through it. You need to move that energy through your body and out of your body to regulate your nervous system. Shoving it down and saying, I'm just going to ignore it, has never worked for anyone.
Ever.
No.
Ever. It's never worked.
So if you come to class and you cry, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because everyone in that room, whether they're crying or not, is just going to have compassion.
Right.
They're not going to say, oh, look at that goofy ass over there. He's crying. Why are you crying at yoga? There's no crying in yoga.
That guy didn't show up to yoga.
Crying in yoga. That's right. So, I mean, I think this is the back to that community piece, right? Where people do understand, and it's not going to be weird, and it's going to be fine. And if you need extra help, we're going to give it to you. So, I mean, it's
we hold the space. I mean, I think of that. Right. When I come, the teacher, the therapist, we hold the space for that. You know, so the non-judgment part of yoga, right? That's what we tell in yoga. We practice non-judgment, so there's no judgment.
That's right.
And those people out there who have done EMDR with Kim and I, we call that containment, right? We contain it. Sometimes there's a literal container, and maybe that is like the four walls of a yoga studio. Maybe that is the walls of like a therapy space. Maybe it's the vessel that's sitting in front of you because they care about you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That part matters.
Yeah.
Part matters.
It does. And I non-judgment, because people say, well, I'm worried about what everybody else thinks. But the truth is that they're usually worried about what they think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're worried about how they're judging themselves, right?
Right.
Oh, what if I'm not strong enough? What if I'm not good enough? What if I don't do this right? What if I mess it up? What if I can't follow along? What if I don't understand? What if, right? And that's their own judgment. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things I learned through yoga was that judgment piece was about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because once I could accept me, I cared less about what everyone else thought about it. Right.
Self-love, baby.
Yeah, pay attention to your own mat. What are you doing?
That's right. That's right. What's going on your mat? That's right.
I think that's, I really tried to do a theme in this has been self-love. And then I talked about blockages to self-love. We talked about the malas in yoga, the ways that block us by feeling unworthy, that feeling like we're separate or alone, and feeling that we don't do enough. Those are the three malas.
So those are malas. We call them negative cognitions.
Negative cognitions.
It's amazing how those things
they all just go together.
They do. I say this all the time. Everything is just another way of saying it so that somebody can hear it. Somebody couldn't hear it this way. Somebody couldn't hear it this way. Yes. And we say it in different ways, but we're all saying the same thing. Right. In all the things that we do.
Yeah. If EMDR doesn't work for you, go to yoga.
Right. And I
remind you to love yourself from there too.
That's right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will say, well, I don't know, yoga seems woo-woo or whatever. And I'm like, Juliet is one of the most logical people I know, just like her approach to going and doing yoga. I'm going to go to all the places. I'm going to research it.
Here's my spreadsheet of how I got this done.
Right. How do I get the poses?
That's right.
That's right. Teach?
But it's okay. All brain types, all processing types, this is helpful. And there's so much science.
Oh, yeah.
So much science. And to lower your blood pressure, to lower your A1C, to lower your autoimmune flares. There is a million ways in which we see this. And
when yoga was one of the first recognized treatments for PTSD in soldiers.
That's exactly right.
Yoga. Our federal government, who
for sure
isn't going to be real progressive all the time.
Oh, they are not. My master's program had a concentration in military, and we had a bunch of military guys come and talk to us about yoga and meditation. Mm-hmm. Right. So they called it mindfulness because we changed the name so that we could accept it in more of a medical community. Right. So I don't really care what you call it. Again, don't care. What we're talking about is all the same. Right.
Bilingual here.
Yeah. And here's these people that have been to war, and they said this was the most useful thing we've done. Right. And again, because we're regulating the nervous system. Right. And and we know that yoga is a medicine. That's not woo-woo. That's science.
That's science.
That's science. So, and we always talk about the woo-woo. Like we all are like, that's interesting, but we're not going to do it here because we do evidence-based stuff here. And yoga is an evidence-based practice that absolutely has mental and physical health benefits.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And sound baths too. We get,
that's right.
And a lot of people come to sound baths and then they come to yoga. So, it's like that's a little entrance point where they come here, they get comfortable, they make a friend maybe if they're up to making friends, and then they come back.
I love the sound baths. I mean, when you go to the doctor, have you ever had something done where they hand you a little vibrating thing to keep the pain from being too much, like at the dentist sometimes went to you or whatever? It's like that because what it's doing in the body, right, is retoning the vagal nerve. Yeah. So it is, the vibration has a purpose. My kids who are on the spectrum, I often will give them one of those little sound bowls, right?
All of my kids on the spectrum love my sound bowls.
They do because it gets them to that place where like, oh,
there's that,
and that vibration is very helpful.
I've read multiple articles recently that have talked about places that are with like the nonverbal population that has autism, and they are incorporating sound baths to help the entire group of people that it's there that day to regulate. And it helps them. It helps them regulate. It helps them with their occupational therapy later. It helps them with like all of these other things. It gives them more capacity. Like later on, which I think is absolutely fascinating. And it's like,
it is fascinating.
You just wanted me to show up with my kid and like have him hang out with this bowl and make it sing. That sounds great. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's really amazing. And I can't stress enough that we could put obstacles in front of ourselves all day for reasons we're not going to go do stuff. I brought my granddaughters to the sound bath, and they are at the time, I'm trying to think what age they were. So 12 and 10, I guess. And they loved it. They're like, that was so awesome, right? And you would think they'd be fidgety or whatever. Like, that was awesome. I mean, you at every age can appreciate what this does to your body. You're like, oh, I feel so light.
Yeah.
I used to have a lot more kids ask for the bowls.
I have a question.
Yes, Sophia.
Can you go into more detail about what a sound bath actually is? Because sometimes the word bath can be a little misleading to the general.
Very good point. There's no getting wet.
There's no getting wet.
No bathing suit required.
That's funny.
That's a really good point, Sophia. Yes.
So what is a sound bath? The sound bath, I would define it as a full body listening experience. So you get the vibrations in your ears and you hear the sounds, but you also feel them throughout your body. So it is a full body listening experience. I always start my sound bath with a little description about what everything is, because people want to know what they're going to hear. They get a little, what is that? I want them to be distracted. Yeah. So we talk about the instruments and their role. So the bowls help you get in this drone state where it starts to slow your breath rate, your heart rate. Then the gong is about transformation. So it kind of pulls you out for a minute, maybe. But it's meant to represent change, transformation. And then we have the ethereal little chimes that play, and then the rain drums. So those all are this journey that you're going to go on with a sound bath. It's not just one instrument. I purposely pick these things that play well together that have a purpose. And so as I'm going through it, you're kind of riding the wave of the sound, and then it might change a little bit. And then maybe your thoughts change a little bit. And then you go down and you take another wave and you go back. So there's always this little flow that happens at the end. And then I say, everybody just relax at the end. We're going to come up very slowly. And then we sit and we talk about what we experienced if we want, if they don't want to share. And I've had people in tears actually that just said pass. I don't really want to share. It's like, okay, that's fine. You don't have to share. There's not a requirement. But some people will take all the time and tell you their whole story
about their foxes.
Which I love. I love my fox person. Yeah. So Sophia's mother, that is my fox person. She comes to everyone, and she always has like a whole creative story to tell.
I love that.
She's the most creative person, artist, and lovely human being. So she's always in a creative space when she's there.
I love that.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So, I have really spent a lot of time and money learning and practicing, because I do practice quite a bit, of putting together what I think sounds best and harmonious and worked with a professional, have said that this is what you buy, this kind of thing, so that because I do not have a musical background. I'm didn't have a music degree. I have a journalism degree in public relations. So there's that. So that was very helpful to have a mentor that helped me do that and work on it.
That's one of the things I love about you. You don't dabble, right? You're not a dabbler.
No, that is
right.
We go
deep right in.
First in. Let's do it.
Yeah. But I think that's why one of the reasons why Juliet and I really resonated, because I love all that stuff, but I'm very grounded and logical in my approach to business and things like that, and the science of what we do. And so all of that, but I also really love sound. I want to go to yoga, and I want to do all the things, right? So, but to me, it has to be grounded in something. Right, and so I think that's one of the areas that we always met on, was like, you have this very practical approach. You're going to know what you're talking about. Right, you're not going to take risks with people. You're not going to put them in unsafe situations. I never worry that you won't know the right thing to say to someone or to do. If someone had a moment, like, I never worry about that. Right. And it's not that, we are in a college town. So a lot of people want to go to a yoga class that really is just an exercise class. Right. Right. That's not what we do here. Us. It's not. And that's okay. Yeah. We are actually looking at healing. And yes, there is a physical benefit to it as well. Right. But this is a whole body experience. It is not just a come in and get your workout done experience. Right. And listen, if that's what you're doing, great. Keep doing it. Right. But I think find a place. Yeah, right. But for an audience that is our audience, this is just much deeper in healing and rooted in that, right? And there's a lot of practical in that, as well as this just feels really good. Right. So there's a balance in that.
Now you know why you feel good when you leave.
That's right.
We've made sure that that's hopefully your result when you leave.
Yeah.
When and grounded as logical as you are, you've also dumped a lot of money into like all of these cool instruments. So I also think that that's probably where we connect. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I want the fanciest wind chime I can find to do.
Her gong
from
is
France.
Awesome.
So my wind chimes are from France.
And her gong is from Italy.
Handmade from France. And the gong is handmade in Italy.
In Italy. So just say it.
Just say it. The quality stuff up in here.
That's right. I don't buy the middle of the road things. I don't buy the middle of the road things. I want quality. I'm going to do it. And I've been fortunate that I've been able to have the resources to do it.
That's right.
And then I have a husband that goes, is it okay if I spend $2,000 on a gong? He's like, I guess. Sure.
I guess.
Do we need a gong? Yes.
I said yes. Well,
Tim's like, another thing I got to carry up and down the steps.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think it's the $2,000. It's how many items do I have to carry upstairs?
How many stairs are there?
22. I have my clients tell me there are exactly 22 stairs from the bottom to the top of our stairs.
Yeah. If you take nothing else from this, know that it takes 22 steps.
22 steps if you're in the parking lot to the studio upstairs. There where you are. Right. 22 steps.
That you will have to do.
Yeah.
There's no getting around it. We don't have an elevator.
We don't have an elevator, unfortunately.
We do not. But we believe in you. You can do 22
steps. You can do those 22 steps.
So I don't know. I love what you do. And I love the way you do it.
Thank you.
So I think that's so beautiful. And I just couldn't say enough about you personally and your practice and what you offer to everyone that comes to these doors. It means a lot.
This has been the best job ever. I'm serious. I mean, I've taught at many studios, and this is it. This is where it's at.
I appreciate that. I think it's the energy we all bring, right? It's what we're developing. And we've said that from the beginning. It's important.
It's important.
Yeah. And Juliet and I met because I have a friend who knew her friend.
Again,
who said,
Province.
That's right. And she said, you need to call her. And so I did. And we talked about it for about a year. Before. Yeah. So she doesn't make quick decisions, but when she makes them, she commits.
That's right.
And I've never looked back and never had a second thought about it. Yeah.
Because that's the way it happened. I mean, at first we said, you want to teach here? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. And then I was like, well, what about this? What about this process and that process? And how do you do this? Right. And then Kim said, do you want to run the program?
She's like,
so let me think about it.
And then I went, here you go.
Here you go.
This is for
you can run it now. Okay.
Yeah.
You were also meant to be here because you have a friend of a friend connection and you have a family.
I have a family connection with her. With
who
one
now
of my
lives
students.
in my neighborhood.
Who lives in your
neighborhood.
neighborhood.
And you know her mom.
And you know her mom. And my son. when she went to school with my son.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So all of that is together.
It's
I love
it's meant
all
to
of
be.
that. It
That's
is meant
right.
to be.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. Hannah's your, she's been my student for over 20 years.
I know, she tells me that. She's like, I'm a Juliet groupie.
She goes where I go.
Giggle, like, so much.
She was there with me in the church basements when I first
Yeah,
started
she
teaching.
has told me that.
She's
She has
been
told me that
there.
story. That's fantastic.
She has been there with me.
Well, that's a
So,
testament to how wonderful you are.
It is.
I do. I have an OG group of over 20 years of people that come to class.
That's
I
amazing.
love that. It says something. I mean, it really
There's no
does.
better compliment than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I love them.
And it's not the space is great, and it's wonderful that we can have this great space, but it's not about the space, right? People would not continue to come if you were not fabulous.
Yep.
They
My
wouldn't.
heart.
They just wouldn't.
Be still, my
That's
heart.
just the truth. Right? It's just the truth. Well, thank you for taking the time today. To come and share
I'm
with
so
us
glad. This
and
has
talk
been
about
so
this.
much
I
fun to
know,
talk about things that I love to talk about.
That's right. That's right. And that we love to talk about.
Yeah.
So go
thank
forth
you
in
guys.
yoga.
I will go
That's
forth
right.
in yoga. Be back
Yeah.
here at 6 o'clock
6
for
o'clock for
class.
class.
6 p.m. So
Okay. Well, come join us. And if you are curious, you can go on to Juliet's website. You can go onto our website. You can call. You can ask the question, but just come, enjoy it. And